In this part of the lesson we'll be creating this ring here, and we'll be making use of our baguettes and springs between two curves commands, and also our unfold and refold commands. So I'll come in by creating a new file, basic closed solitaire. Let's name the part. Okay, so here we are in the template. Let's start off by creating the ring shank. Yeah, I'm not going to use a ring shank sketch. I'm going to right click, create my own ring shank sketch. Let's place this sketch on the 12 o'clock datum, use centroid defined by plane, confirm the operation. Okay, I can hide the part level. Okay, let's first of all create a few lines. This first line will be a reference line. Create two more lines out here that we will constrain. Use our constraints, point to midpoint, okay, let's come in with dimensions. We'll bring this one down to a 6, change this one to an 8. Okay, we'll give a dimension actually to our reference line, let's say 4.5. Okay, and we'll change this into construction geometry. Okay, we'll come in with two arcs now to our endpoints. I'm going to set up this radius to equal our left radius. Double click, pick dimension, picking this dimension. Okay, it's the same. Now I like to change the color of this so I know that it is linked up to something else. Let's give a radius of 2.5 millimeters. Okay, so this is our ring shank sketch. Okay, now I'm going to copy this sketch so that I can place it in a new sketch environment. Okay, so we do this by window picking, right click. Okay, now we have two copy options. We have the copy, which is one of our basic editing commands that allows us to copy the entities within the current level. Okay, but we also have this copy where we can copy our entities between levels. So let's copy to the clipboard by left clicking. Okay, we have our entities picked. We can now pick the base point, okay, the point at which we're copying from, pick it as the origin, confirm the operation. Okay, that has been copied to our clipboard, and let's exit out into our part level. There's our ring shank sketch. I'm going to insert a new sketch on the 6 o'clock datum plane. Show target. Okay, now we can right click, paste this icon here, paste. Again, here you can see our ring shank sketch. We're placing it at the datum. And there you go, that's copying between sketches. Now let's give this different dimensions. Okay, I'll bring the height down. Okay, so when we copy, sometimes our constraints are not copied through, in which case we have to come in and add them in manually again. Okay, we don't have the point to midpoint constraint either. Okay, so there we go. We'll drop this down a bit more, I think, to 2. Keep the radius at 2.5. Our top width, let's say 3. bottom width 6. Okay, the rest seems to be linked up well. I'm going to exit back out into my part level. Let's save our work. Save. Use a drive curve loft now to create our ring shank. Drive curve loft. Pick the curve list of the template. The profiles are our ring shank sketches. Okay, picking at the same point. We'll have no end cap since it's a complete revolution. Confirm the operation. Okay, and here is our ring shank. We're going to be doing our baguettes between two curves on this face here, and then our springs between two curves on this face. Okay, so we're going to insert a sketch now just to separate up our ring shank. Okay, we'll start off with a line to use for reference, and the second one. Let's make this construction geometry. We'll give a dimension, let's say 20, and an angular one. Bring that up to 75. Okay, we're going to mirror this line across. Now this isn't going to be linked up, so let's just point coincident constraint to nail it to that origin. Okay, so we've seen this method before, using these curves to project to our faces to split them up. Okay, we want to split up this shank because we're not going to be placing our baguettes and our pave the entire way around our ring shank. Okay, so let's split these faces now with our sketch. I'm going to come into the freeform tab. I'll use the split with curves command. Okay, we have the projection in here. Alternatively, we could have come in and done this manually in the wireframe command. Project to face, we would project our sketch onto our faces and then use our split with curves command. But this command has a projection field within it, so we can do it in one operation. We'll pick our faces. We want to split all of these faces, okay, with our sketch. Projection, okay, two directions in the Y, along the Y-axis. Confirm the operation. Okay, now we have split these faces. Okay, we can move our split around the shank by coming into that sketch and modifying the angle. Okay, but I'm happy with this for now. Okay, so now we're going to create a channel for our baguettes. Now I'm going to split this face up further. I will insert a sketch on my side datum plane, and now I'm going to reference this edge, right click, reference, first option, reference that edge. Now I'm going to offset it 0.5 millimeter. Okay, that is in the right direction. I'll confirm the operation. Okay, now this offset curve has come in as a point curve here. Now I want it to be a straight line, 2-point line, because that will avoid instances like this. Okay, we do not want this bend. I'm just going to create a 2-point line from the bottom here along our offset curve. Okay, and now I will mirror this across to the other side. Okay, I'm going to turn my offset curve into construction geometry. Okay, so here are our two 2-point lines. Okay, now I'm going to extrude these through my ring shank. Okay, I'm going to be splitting my ring shank face with these created faces. Okay, I'm going to extend the faces, freeform, extend face, pick the face. Now I pick the edge that I want to extend. 5mm is fine, I just need it to come beyond our endpoint of the face. Okay, so we can get a clean split. Let's do the same to the other face. Confirm the operation. Okay, now we're going to use, instead of our split with curves, our split with faces command. We pick the face we want to split. Then we pick our splitting faces. Okay, and we don't want to keep our splitting faces. Okay, so we've divided up that face again. Okay, so that we can have a boundary between our baguettes and our round paved stones. Okay, now I'm going to come to the shape ribbon tab and offset this top face a little bit. I'm just going to offset it a negative 0.5 to start off with. Okay, so that we have a face to place our baguettes on that is below our channel. In fact, I'm going to create a border here straight away. Okay, I want to raise these faces up to create the border. So let's try a face offset to increase these faces. Let's say a positive 0.4. Okay, it's failing. Okay, so an offset face for whatever reason is failing, so we'll have to take a different approach. Let's come into our freeform tab. We'll offset this face zero. Okay, we're going to offset it at 0 just to duplicate the face. We change the face color to brown. Okay, now we will shell, shape, shell, our new shape, the brown face. Okay, if you can't pick it, hold down the Alt key, and we'll give it a thickness of 0.4mm. Okay, so here we have gotten our face offset by performing a shell of a duplicated face. Okay, so this is a new shape. Let's come in and add a few chamfers to it. I'm going to start off with an asymmetric chamfer. Okay, I pick my edge, then pick the face. Let's increase the setback. Okay, need a far smaller step size there. I'll bring it up to 0.4, the thickness of our border, and let's increase the angle. Okay, so we can get away with 89 degrees there. I'm just creating a better flow between our border and the lower ring shank. Okay, let's do this to the other end as well. Edge and face, confirm the operation. Okay, now I'm going to add a fillet to these points to round them off. Okay, the fillet, we can make this quite large. See what we can get away with. Okay, the other side is not liking it. About 10.5 will confirm the operation. Okay, so there is our border. Let's mirror it across to the other side. And we'll perform a Boolean add at the same time to add it to our ring shank. Save the work. Okay, now let's come in with our baguettes between two curves. Pave, baguettes between two curves. Curve A is this edge. Middle click, curve B. The opposite edge. Middle click, pick the surface. Okay, here are our baguettes coming in. Let's increase the number. We have 19. Gem depth, we'll bring our gem depth down a bit. Again, we can give an elevation to our baguettes now. We have this sidewall. Say 0.3. Maybe a bit more, 0.35. Okay, we're going to oversize our baguettes so that they come into our channel walls a bit, so they can be set. 0.1 will do. We're not going to have a minimum distance. I can already see a gap between them anyway. That looks decent. Let's take a look at our bridges. Okay, here are our gemstone bridges. I'm going to elevate them slightly because we gave our baguettes an elevation. Say 0.2. The depth, I'm going to bring them down beyond our ring finger. I'll be trimming out anyway, so I'm just going to give them more than enough depth. We'll oversize them a little bit just to bring them into the walls of our ring shank. Let's decrease the bridge width. The angle is fine. Let's confirm the operation and see what we have. Okay, so in the wireframe display mode, you can see that maybe our bridges need to be raised up a bit. Okay, but I'm going to leave the bridges where they are, just so they're not intersecting our baguettes, so that we get a nice render. Okay, let's blank out a couple of these baguettes. Blank. Okay, so now we need to take out this face that we have here. We need to remove the material. Okay, so we can come in to the shape ribbon tab, use the face offset. Okay, we can offset the face all the way in with our remove all intersections selected. Okay, so that's going to remove the lower face. Without that, you would get some new surfaces created. So we remove the intersections. Okay, we could come in with a seat for our baguettes along here, but I'll leave it since our baguettes are within our channel wall. They should be held nicely in that material. So let's confirm this face offset. I'm going to merge my bridges now. our spaces. Let's perform an extrude cut to cut them out to the ring finger. Extrude. Template sketch. Extrude cut. Okay, that looks decent. Confirm the operation. There is our extrude cut. Okay, now we're going to create some pierce work under here. So I'm going to offset my bridges slightly. First of all, face offset, we're going to offset them by a -mm. So we're just going to offset these faces to give ourselves a bit of space. Confirm the operation. Okay, now we're going to be using our unfold command and then our wrap to faces by refolding to create this pierce work. So first of all, we need a face that we're going to unfold. So we're coming into the freeform tab, n-sided. We'll create an n-sided face. Here we don't want to sew the shapes. Confirm the operation. Okay, so there is our face. It's a separate shape because we did not sew it. Now this is the face that we will use to unfold. Use the unfold to plane command. Pick our face. Okay, it's unfolding to our top datum. Okay, that's fine. Seems to be coming in at an angle though. So let's specify our horizontal direction along the x-axis. Okay, so that is taking the angle out. Confirm the operation. Okay, now we have our unfolded plane. We're going to create some pierce work within here that we can then refold inside of our ring shank. Okay, so I'm going to use a pattern from our designs. Look at the pattern sketches. Okay, I'll just use this as a simple pattern. I'm going to place it on the top datum, confirm the operation. Now I'm going to enter into the sketch environment of our pattern. Okay, so we can make some changes to it. First of all, I'll reference our unfolded face. Okay, so now I can show the target to clear out the clutter. Now I want to copy this pattern throughout my unfolded plane. So I'll copy it first and then I'll adjust its placement within our unfolded face. So let's copy all of this geometry. I'm just window picking it all, then I'm holding down the control to unpick the reference curves. I'm going to copy. In fact, I do not want to copy this side, okay, because I want to have repetition. So I'm going to control unpick this side. From point, from here. This seems to be about the right spacing. Let's increase our number so that we have more than enough to fill our space. Confirm the operation. Now I'm going to place a box, a rectangle, corner to corner around my pattern. This box I'll be using to move my pattern precisely. So let's first change it into construction geometry. Okay, now I want to move the center of my pattern into the center of our unwrapped face. To do this, I'll use my inputting options. Let's move. Okay, I'll window pick everything, and I'm going to control unpick my reference lines here. Now I want to move the center point the front point. Okay, to find the center point, I'm going to right click between. Okay, I'll specify distance between 2 points, and the 2 points I'll pick, I'll use my inputting options again, the 2 midpoints of these lines. Okay, so now we've got our 2 points picked as the midpoints, and if we set our between to 50%, that will be the midpoint of the 2 points, thus giving us the center of our pattern. Okay, now we can move it to the center of our unwrapped face using the same method. Right click, between, right click, middle, this curve, right click, middle to this curve, 50%, confirm the operation, confirm. Okay, and there you go. Now our pattern is lined up perfectly to the center of our unfolded plane. Okay, now what I want to do is trim out my pattern exactly to these curves. Okay, so we have only the pattern within our borders. Now we could do this using our trim, for example a power trim. Okay, but it could take a little while. There is a faster way. First of all, I'm going to delete these reference lines. I don't need them anymore. Just picking them and then pressing delete on the keyboard. Okay, so to get a good trim, we can come into our edit in the drop down menu. Okay, now we have some options down here, okay, that we can't necessarily find within our ribbons. The tool I'm going to use is in the geometry intersect regions. Okay, this is quite a nice little tool. Our first region we'll pick as our reference curve. I did a chain pick there, holding down the shift key. Our second region is the rest. Confirm the operation. Okay, and there you go, it's trimmed it and auto closed it. This is exactly what we want now. Okay, we have a pattern within the region of our unwrapped face. Now we exit back out into the part level. Okay, now I'm going to create the geometry that I will be wrapping, our pierce work. Okay, so I need to extrude 2 times. First of all, I need to extrude the unwrapped face. Okay, so I'm going to blank the sketch first of all. Go into my extrude command. I'll do a one-sided extrude. The profile, okay, I want it to be this entire unwrapped face. I'll right click, insert curve list, pick the curves, I can chain pick them, confirm the operation. Okay, now let's extrude it 0.5 millimeter. As a base, okay, -0.5. Okay, this is as a base, and we want some end caps. Okay, so we have a solid shape there. Let's unblank our sketch. Okay, now we will extrude, remove the sketch to create the pierce work. Okay, so that sketch is our pierce work, but we want this symmetrical. Remove from this shape only. Confirm the operation. Okay, there's our pierce work. Now let's wrap it back to our face. Shape, wrap to faces. The third option, we're going to rewrap or refold the unfolded face. Pick the geometry, it's our pierce work, the source, unfolded face. We get the preview, confirm the operation. Okay, now we can erase this face. There is our pierce work. We can combine, add our pierce work to our ring shank. Okay, so that is one strategy to create some pierce work within our ring shank. Let's erase these curves now. Save our work. Let's unblank our top baguettes. Okay, so now we will come in with our pave on the side of our shank, our springs between two curves. Okay, first of all I'm going to offset this edge on this face, okay, because if we did our springs between two curves, if these are our two curves, two edges, it is likely that we'll have some overlap of the stones with the ring finger. Okay, so I just want to create a curve that is set back a little bit so that my springs between two curves will not create gemstones that are intersecting the ring finger. So we'll do this in the same way we've done before. We'll create the curve and then split with curves. So in the wireframe display tab, offset, we'll offset on face. The curve is this edge and this edge. The face, this face, distance, let's bring it down to 0.25. Confirm the operation. There is our curve. We're going to concatenate our curve. Okay, now we'll use our springs between two curves. I don't actually need to split this face with the curve, since our pave tool will only come up to the boundary of the curve. So let's use our springs between two curves command. Curve A, this curve, curve B. In fact, I should have changed our placement options first. We don't want them on the curve, we want them to touch the curve. So I'll cancel out, middle click to bring it back up again, change the options. We want our gemstones to touch the curve, not be on the curve. So curve A, curve B, surface, okay, let's increase our rows to 3, change my step size to 1. Play around with our options here, let's increase our number of points. Okay, this is tidying it up a bit. We'll bring our gem size down 100%. We'll even out our stones a bit. Okay, now we're having a bit of a problem here. Seems to be this gemstone is coming over within this face. So maybe I was wrong to not split this face with our curves. So I think I will exit out and do that now. Freeform tab, split with curves, this face with the curve. Okay, now let's try that pave again. Curve A, change our options first, touch curve, curve A, curve B, surface. Okay, this appears to have corrected that problem. Let's increase our points again. Yes, it solved that issue. We're going to give our stones an elevation, just a small one. Even our stones. Okay, we're going to increase our points. Let's set a minimum distance so that we do not get collisions. Okay, we've got some pretty large spacing here. Let's see if we can close it up a bit by increasing our number. Okay, that's not so nice. Maybe we can increase our stone size. Okay, so it is a case of just playing around with the options until you get the result that you want. Okay, I think this looks pretty satisfactory now. I'm going to mirror to cross onto the other side, straight away in the command. Confirm the operation. Okay, let's hide our JCD datums. Save our work. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We'll come in with our prongs next. Okay, I just think I want to add the bridges for my baguettes to the ring shank first. Shape, combine, pick the shank as the base, and our window pick all of our bridges. Confirm the operation. Okay, that is combine, added them all. Save. Okay, let's come in with our prongs now. Gem settings. Okay, we could try our Pave prongs, but more likely than not they'll fail if we pick it all as a feature. Okay, some are coming in nicely, but others are a bit off there. Okay, because we do have varying gaps between our stones and sizes. Let's come in with our scaled prongs and do them a row at a time. So I'll pick them as the components. Okay, we're not getting a preview because the gap is too large for the settings that we have, but we will change that after we've picked all of our stones. Okay, so let's decrease our overlap to say 15%. Okay, there we go, we're getting some prongs in there. Okay, we're getting an overlap with our inside row, which could be a good thing to help set that as well. Let's bring our height down. This is going to be for rendering 0.35, maybe 0.4. Okay, but these look alright so far. Let's see if we can put in some virtual stones at the end there. Okay, I think I'd rather come in with some manual prongs. We're going to mirror our prongs across to the other side. Let's confirm the operation. Let's see if we need to make any tweaks to our dome. In fact, I can see that we don't. All of our domes seem an appropriate size. We'll just cancel out the tweak tool. Okay, so there's some prongs. Let's come in with the next row. Scaled prongs again. Let's pick the stones one by one. Drop down the overlap, the height. Okay, these prongs are looking pretty large. This overlap is a bit too much for my liking. Change my step size. Okay, we'll mirror these across again. Confirm the operation. Check out the stone or sizes of our prongs. Okay, 0.53. Make sure we don't have any 4s in there. Okay, so our dome 0.25 is fine. We'll cancel out the tweak. Okay, let's now come on to our final row. Scaled prongs. Overlap, we'll drop it down again. Height 0.35. Let's check these out. Okay, we don't want it, they seem like they might be coming into the ring finger a bit there. Let's move them in a little bit. Confirm the operation. I think we'll have to make a tweak. Some of the prongs look pretty small there. Okay, we have 0.4s, some minimum size, so let's drop our dome down to 0.18. Okay, we want it to be equal to or less than the radius of the prongs, just to make sure we don't get any trouble with self-intersecting surfaces. Confirm the operation. Okay, I forgot to mirror those prongs across. Okay, prior to mirroring, I think I'm going to drag my feature frozen down now. Our history is getting pretty large. Edit the prongs, mirror across the side, or the front actually. Confirm. Okay, we'll reperform the tweak and then cancel out the tweak, the original tweak from history. Dome 0.18, 0.18. Apply. Confirm. Okay, we'll delete this tweak. Okay, so we need to add in some end prongs here. Save our work. Use our tools cutters. Let's use our component replicate. Okay, we can mirror them across the other side. We'll confirm the operation and grab a bigger one for the last. Okay, I'm just going to drop up another prong in here to fill the space. Confirm the operation. Okay, now we want to mirror these prongs. Okay, so we have a mirror components command. Okay, we also have our normal basic editing mirror. Okay, now when we are mirroring components, this is a bit different to mirroring other shapes and entities, and I'll show you why. Okay, first of all, the first difference is we cannot pick features to mirror. We have to pick them out of components. Okay, now we mirror across a plane. Okay, we don't get the preview, confirm. Okay, so there is our mirror. It's fine. If we regenerate the history, we'll be presented to this pop-out box. We can press yes, or yes to all. Okay, and our mirror will go through. Okay, I don't know why this sketch has come back. Okay, and our mirror will go through fine. Okay, but this is the difference. If we use, instead of this mirror, let's undo it. And use our mirror components instead. Okay, let's see the difference. Pick the datum first. We can then pick our components. Okay, we can pick them as features, make it a bit quicker. We get the preview, confirm the operation. Okay, so there's a few benefits already. We regenerate the history. Okay, and you will see we did not have that pop-out box. Okay, so when we are mirroring components, I do advise using the mirror components command as opposed to our usual basic editing mirror. Okay, you'll probably get away with it fine, but sometimes you can run into issues if you use the basic editing mirror on components. Okay, and this mirror components option is just generally a better way to go. For example, when we are regenerating history, we don't have the pop-out. Okay, so let's middle click, pick our data, and we're going to mirror them across to the other side. And we can pick them as features. And we get the preview there. Confirm the operation. Okay, so there are our beads for our stones. Next we'll come in with the cutters. Let's use pilot cutters. We're going to pick all of our stones as a feature at once. Okay, it may take a bit of time to load. Okay, when you see the preview, left click to place. May take a bit more time to load. Okay, we can play around with our options. I'm just going to drop the elevation down to 0. Okay, and I'm going to confirm it there. I'll make a couple of tweaks within our tweak tool. When it pops up, pick the round pilot. Okay, I'm going to decrease my girdle thickness 0.05. Okay, and I know we've got some pretty big stones in here. So I'm going to have to drop my pavilion down to cut away enough material for them to sit. Okay, it's hard to get a visual there. Let's just drop it down to a -1. Okay, we can always come in later and make tweaks for the individual ones where not enough material has been removed. Okay, so I'll confirm the tweak here. Okay, it looks like we might be alright there, removing enough material. That might be fine. Okay, so now let's merge our cutters. Save our work first. Merge cutters. I'll just window pick. In fact, I can just pick them as a feature. Base. Okay, that seems to have worked fine. We'll blank out the stone. Yes, we have our cuts. Let's drag our feature frozen down. Okay, now finally we'll merge our prongs. Gem settings, merge prongs. Pick our prongs. check our base, confirm the operation, let it do its work. Okay, let's see if that's gone through nicely. Looks to be fine there. Okay, so that's just about there. What I'm going to do finally is change my Baguette stone colors. Let's go into the assign materials, pick them as a feature. Let's just say an emerald. Save the work and we can check it out in our live render. Okay, let's place the live rendering studio. Okay, it snaps in at the origin. Let's check out a live render. Okay, so that's looking pretty nice. We could let it run. I'm going to check it out in a Thea render, a Thea live render. Okay, it's coming through a bit dark there. We can merge our rendering studio. Okay, I'll do that. Shape, merge as a base. Let's move this one up a bit. We'll change our face color, maybe to have even a hint of green to accentuate our green baguettes. Let's just come in and play a bit with our face attributes, increase the shine and gloss. Okay, it's still looking pretty dark there.